we have a quorum, and Representative Gainey is not going to be present for today's meeting, but all 4 other board members are present. So that will be reflected in the meetings for this month's meeting, the minutes for this month's meeting. Our first order of business is to approve the board meeting minutes from last month's meeting, from the September 9th meeting.
So moved.
Thank
Second.
you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. And public comment, I know we did not receive any written submissions in public comment in advance. Do we have anyone who registered to provide live public comment?
We did not.
Okay. It's kind of a record thing, so no public comment for today. And I think we'll move right into announcements. Greg, are you covering this stuff?
I can if you'd like to.
Sure.
If I may, I believe Councilman Lavelle was going to speak to the first item, and then Maya is going to speak to the second.
Certainly. So the first one is the announcement of the Center Hellman Plaza grocer has been selected, which is Salim's Market and Grill. And what we're really announcing is that we're going to be entering lease negotiations with them to occupy the former Shop and Save, soon to be Salim's Market and Grill. One, I think it's really exciting. Two, I think just for context, I think it's helpful to just go through how we got here very briefly. It was back in November of 2019 that the URA acquired the former Shop and Save, the Center Hellman Plaza, and we did so with the explicit intent to make sure that that plaza, which was built with mostly with public dollars, would be able to maintain and be for the public good moving forward. So I want to thank the URA for one, taking that step to acquire it. It was then in March of 2020 when RFI was released for the entire plaza. We did get responses for the storefronts, but we got no response whatsoever for an actual grocer. But it's also important to note that was also during the height of the pandemic, so also somewhat understandable. It was then in March of 2021 that the URA hired a broker to begin going out and looking to see whom we could attract for this site. And what I will say is we literally reached out and probably spoke to every major operator that exists that we could possibly talk to. Shop and Save, Aldi's, Giant Eagle, Kroger, you name it, we were reaching out, which is how even Fresh International, which isn't even in this market, sort of piqued their interest because we were reaching out to any and all. It was after that once the brokers did their due diligence, we finally ended up with 4 who were truly interested in the plaza. They all responded, they submitted their letters, and then we went through a community process that was really guided by the Hill CDC. So I need to thank the Hill CDC for their process in this as well, whereby we had community meetings. The community had an opportunity to vote and say who they wanted to bring into their community. And Salim's Market and Grill was by and large the clear favorite. The other thing I think is worth noting, because I've been asked this question, the intent here is to double the size of the current operation that is taking place currently in the Strip District. So Salim's Market will really become a true grocery store. The intent here is that anyone who is shopping there will be able to get all of what they need there, whether it's spices, toilet paper, or milk and eggs. You'll be able to come here and get what you need. So this will indeed be a grocery store that is servicing the neighborhood, while also then bringing the restaurant to the neighborhood, which also will increase its footprint, while also bringing the butcher to the neighborhood, which will also provide fresh food, fresh vegetables, fresh meat. So I think this is really exciting. And I think the other sort of exciting piece to it is anyone who knows Salim's know there's already a very established following of people that will follow Salim's no matter where he's coming, and now he's coming to the Hill District. And so that brings foot traffic that'll help aid and help support all the other minority businesses that we're trying to open up on Center Avenue. It'll help the community, the coffee shop that is currently on Center Avenue. It helps support that. So this is really exciting. I want to thank all those who've been involved on the URA side, on the community side, to help us get to where we are today. So that's probably a long way of making that simple announcement, but it is an exciting opportunity for the community. So thank you all.
Thanks, Councilman. That was a great overview. Very exciting progress. I think Maya is going to walk us through Maya Fuse is going to walk us through the Homewood Avenue RFI.
Yes, on October 25th, the URA will be issuing a request for information for 5 parcels along North Homewood Avenue. We are looking for a development team or a developer to serve as our partner as we work to redevelop affordable housing and activate commercial space. This will be our first redevelopment project on the corridor, and we are looking forward to working with the community throughout this process.
Great. The only other announcements that are probably worth making at the moment are that today, the 9% LIHTC, low-income housing tax credit awards were announced for the city, and Pittsburgh received 3 9% low-income housing tax credit awards for what will end up being a total of 112 units of affordable housing. One of the awards will go to Cedarwood Homes in Ferrywood. The second will go to Catalyst Communities in the Hill District, and the third to Hilltop Alliance and Gatesburg Road Development for scattered site developments in the Hilltop. So that's great news to get those 3 LIHTC awards. That'll help us continue to increase the stock of affordable housing across the city. So we're celebrating that, and just want to thank each of those developers and community organizations and the staff of the URA that worked hard on helping them with their submissions. I did announce last month that we would be holding an executive session between last month's meeting and today's meeting to discuss the SomeraRoad development, which is back on the agenda for today. There's no announcement necessary for that executive session because the board never ended up meeting in executive session. So we just want to make that clear. There were individual briefings provided to board members that provided a really extensive and detailed deep dive into the financial details of that proposed development, but no executive session ended up actually being held. So with that, I think those are all the announcements or clarifications that we have for today's meeting, and we'll move on, I think, to the voting agenda, beginning with the approval of the 2022 Housing Opportunity Fund allocation plan. Is Bettina? There you are.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Thanks.
Go ahead.
Thanks, Sam. So we are seeking authorization to approve 2022 Housing Opportunity Fund annual allocation plan for the following amounts. This will then be advanced to the approved today. To be advanced to City Council.
Bettina, you're kind of going in and out. Your audio is hard to hear.
Oh, okay. Let me try adjusting that. Is that a little better?
Yeah, you might start from the top, Bettina. You broke up pretty badly there.
Okay. Is that better?
Yes.
Yeah.
Much better. Okay. 2022 Housing Opportunity Fund allocation plan for the following for the rental gap program, 3.8 million, housing stabilization program, 525,000, down payment and closing cost assistance, 700,000, homeowner assistance program, 50,000, for sale development program, 950, legal assistance program, 1,000, small landlord 5,000. If this were to be approved today, it would also for final approval. These are our recommended amounts, again, for the 2022 Housing Opportunity Fund Annual Allocation Plan. Next slide, please.
Bettina, you're still cutting in and out. Shayna, are you able to take over? Bettina, are you able to move closer to a Wi-Fi source?
Let me see, is that better? By chance, is that better at all?
It's hard to say. You keep cutting out.
Yeah, it might be my Wi-Fi.
Would you like me to step in?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay, thank you so much for all your hard
Thank
work.
you.
No problem.
Okay, great. The 2022 HOF allocation plan is based on survey results, public comments, current program pipelines, and available funding for the next year. I will provide a brief summary of the 2022 HOF timeline to provide context for how the plan was constructed. The community outreach RFP was issued in May to the pre-approved slate of HOF community outreach and marketing consultants. The URA received 2 responses to the RFP from Hilltop Alliance and Pittsburgh United. Both firms were selected to perform community outreach and marketing services over a 6-week period with a goal to collect a minimum of 75 unique responses over the phone or online. URA staff and consultants utilized several marketing methods, which included outreach via social media and email distribution groups, phone and limited in-person outreach and virtual community presentations to promote the survey. Pittsburgh United hosted 2 virtual communities and Hilltop Alliance hosted 3 virtual communities in July. In total, 488 responses were collected. So as you can see in the timeline, last Thursday, the HOF advisory voted to approve the allocation plan that we're presenting today, but this timeline kind of reflects all the steps that were taken to get us to today. Next slide, please. This slide is a snapshot of the survey respondents' demographic information. When compared to the city of Pittsburgh's overall population, there was a greater than average representation among homeowners versus renters reflected in the survey. The survey trended older than the average age, which is 35 years or older for the city. And in terms of ethnicity, 35% of respondents were Black or African American, 57 respondents were white, 5 of the respondents were 2 or more ethnicities, 2 were Asian, and 1% were other. Next slide, please. So this slide reflects the ranking from the survey responses, the ranking of existing HOF allocation, HOF programming. That's the top section. And then the bottom section is the ranking from survey respondents, ranking eligible uses for HOF funding, but not necessarily current HOF programming. So for existing programs that the HOF currently has, the top ranked program by our respondents was building more affordable housing for rent. That second highest ranking program was helping people make home repairs, which is our homeowner assistance program. Helping people buy their first homes came in 3rd. Building more affordable housing for sale came in 4th. Short-term financial help for renters, and then responding to large-scale emergencies. So that's the ranking of current HOF programming. As far as eligible uses that could result in new programming, the highest ranked use was avoiding foreclosure, then making affordable housing more permanent, accessibility for seniors and people with disabilities, legal help, and you'll see they go down throughout the ranking slide. But what we heard from the public as far as our current existing programs is that there is still a constant demand to create affordable rental units and to support current homeowners through our assistance program. Next slide. This slide shows how different groups ranked current and potential HOF programs. So for example, renters ranked building more affordable housing for rent as their #1 priority, whereas homeowners ranked helping people make home repairs as #1. So just kind of thinking about the demographics of our respondents and how they view their priorities. Next slide. Oh, I think I confused the last slide. I'm sorry. This is the ranking of current HOF programs by the demographics. And the last slide was those eligible programs, eligible uses that do not currently reflect a program. So for this, if you look at the, well, let's just go to the next slide. I'm getting lost in the numbers. So here is the HOF allocation plan. It reflects the awards and plan from 2018 with the inception of the Housing Opportunity Fund in 2018 to 2022. As Bettina broke down those different program allocations at the beginning. But what we're here to present to you and request approval on is $3.8 million in rental gap program funds, $950,000 in for sale development program funds, $2,150,000 in homeowner assistance program, $700,000 in down payment closing costs, $525,000 in housing stabilization program, $450,000 in legal assistance program, and small landlord funds in the amount of $425,000. I do want to note that the first draft that was approved during the September HOF advisory board meeting originally had $200,000 allocated towards demo dollars. However, after hearing public comment during the October HOF advisory board meeting, the advisory board amended the draft plan to reallocate the demo dollars to the legal assistance program to adequately prepare for the anticipated wave of evictions in 2022, making the legal assistance program final allocation $450,000 and eliminating demo dollars in the 2022 allocation. Additionally, the Small Landlord Fund is a new program that we're rolling out to be funded with HOF. The intent there is to support landlords that have portfolios that are below 10 units or less. These units will be rented to tenants at 80% AMI or less. So we're really excited to add that into the HOF portfolio of programming. Next slide. This shows the 2022 allocation plan recommendation. However, it's broken down between the AMI levels, 30% AMI, 80%, 50% AMI, and then 80%. So that is all I have for you on this. Take any questions or comments.
Thanks, Shana. I think it's just worth just reviewing these numbers just one more time since Athena was cutting out in the first run through. I know you just did it, but you know, so the proposal here, which again comes to us from the 17-member Housing Opportunity Fund Advisory Board, which are community members and affordable housing experts appointed to oversee the Housing Opportunity Fund from across the city, appointed by the mayor. So they meet, they take into account the public comment that they've received and the input from community outreach that Shana described, and present then to the board this recommendation for allocating the annual $10 million in the Housing Opportunity Fund. And so again, the proposal here is $3.8 million for rental gap financing. So that is money that then is provided as loans to developers to create more rental units in the city of Pittsburgh or to preserve existing rental units. So a project has a funding gap and needs additional funding in order to create more affordable housing. That's what that money is used for. The housing stabilization program, that $525,000 is used to provide direct assistance to Pittsburghers facing the short-term rent emergencies in terms of paying their rent and being able to stay in their homes. The $700,000 in down payment assistance is the down payment closing cost assistance program, which provides direct assistance to low-income Pittsburghers buying their first homes in the city of Pittsburgh, which to date has helped something like 240 Pittsburghers buy their first houses in the city since the inception of the Housing Opportunity Fund. $2.15 million in the homeowner assistance program, which helps existing homeowners. So if you already own your home, but you're below, I think, 80% AMI in your family, and have urgent repairs that are needed to your house, the homeowners assistance program can help you with those repairs. The for sale development program helps to try to increase the availability of affordable for sale units by providing development dollars to create more affordable housing that is for sale. And then, as Shana said, the legal assistance program was expected to be urgently needed as we emerge from COVID, and provides direct legal help to people facing eviction or other housing issues. And that's $450,000, and then $425,000 for the small landlord fund, which provides assistance to small landlords seeking to upgrade their properties, and importantly, make them eligible for potentially for Section 8 recipients. So that's the overview. Does anybody from the board have any questions or comments?
I wanted to talk about the legal assistance program, just, from my perspective and talking to community members, in particular, the eviction prevention cohort, that's a mix of eviction prevention groups, human services, courts, and government. This is going to be critical as we, think about, as a lot of these moratoria have lifted, how there are concerns locally about our ability to get ERAP and rental assistance to people fast enough. Providing legal assistance is so critical, and can really be the difference of someone, staying in their home and someone being put out on the streets. And so definitely love that the Housing Opportunity Fund Board, as well as community, have really pushed for that fund to be expanded, because while it's, staying pretty steady right now, come November, I'm sure, unfortunately, we're going to see a surge of eviction petitions filed. So really good to see that we're protecting people and allowing them to stay in place.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions?
I'm sorry. I did want to acknowledge the question. I think there was a question in the chat.
It's in the Q&A.
Sorry.
What are the lengths, terms of affordability if a landlord uses the rental gap program?
Sure, great question. When using rental gap program, the affordability restriction that is recorded on the property is for 40 years.
And then what's the level of affordability on that?
Oh, I'm sorry. For HOF programming, it maxes out at 50% AMI or less. We're also looking to target 30% AMI or less. The actual rental gap program does have a upper threshold of 60% AMI or less, but when we're talking about HOF funds specifically, 50% is the upper limit for HOF funds, but the program does allow for 60% AMI or less.
And you can see from the chart there that of the 3.8 million that's proposed for rental gap financing, 3 million would be reserved for units affordable at or below 30% AMI, so that's deeply affordable units, and the other 800,000 for units that it would be affordable at 50% AMI. So most of that $3.8 million is being proposed to be used for, for sort of the most affordable units. Any other questions, comments? And if none, then I think a motion to approve would be in order.
So move.
Second.
Thank you. Motioned and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. And also thanks to all the work of the advisory board that spent a lot of hours listening to public comment and listening to, to folks who showed up at community meetings to provide input into this plan. Next, in development services, we have a parking garage at Technology Center in South Oakland that Gary Luginski is going to present on.
Yes, thank you, Chairman Williamson. Good afternoon. Authorization is requested to enter into 4 prime contracts at 925 Technology Drive, which is a new 6-story parking garage within Pittsburgh Technology Center. The first agreement is with CPS Construction Group for general construction. That value is $14,335,980. The second contract would be for plumbing construction with WG Tomco Incorporated for $304,333. The third would be for mechanical construction, also with WG Tomco for $65,555. And the fourth final prime contract would be for electrical construction with Clista Electric for $1,847,000. Bids were received on July 14th of this year. Construction is expected to start next month, November 2021. Construction is expected to take 10 months approximately, and all MWB plans have been approved. The next slide will be the Pittsburgh Development Fund loan, and Amanda Lutet will discuss that. Thank you.
Thanks, Mac. So the next item, back in June 2019, the URA had released an RFP for design and engineering services for a parking garage at PTC, which spurred years of planning and design work, getting to this point. But even prior to that, staff was putting together a funding scheme for this parking garage. Today, we are requesting that the board authorize a $2.5 million PDF or Pittsburgh Development Fund loan for construction of the garage. PDF funding has been a keystone piece of the parking garage's funding plan since it was first imagined. The plan also includes sales proceeds from PTC real estate and a construction loan that will bridge the TIF surplus that'll be available in 2024 and a pending RCAP ask. So again, we are also requesting authorization for a PDF loan for $2.5 million.
Any questions? Comments? So again, this is a two-part approval. First, to award the 4 contracts for the construction, and second, to award the PDF loan in the amount of $2.5 million. And you can see on the slide there the other sources of funding for the overall cost of the garage.
Motion to approve.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you very much. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. The motion carries. Amanda, you're going to present on this one too?
Yes. Back in spring of this year, Casa San Jose approached the URA about developing our 1602 to 1606 Broadway Avenue property in Beachview. Their intent is to develop it into their permanent home where they can consolidate their operations into one location. After undergoing a grant-funded project feasibility study, we are now asking that the board authorize entering into an option agreement for the sale of Block 35F, Lot 267, or, the 1602, 1606 Broadway Avenue, to Casa San Jose, or an entity formed by them for $1 plus costs. Ultimately, the URA will develop the site for Casa San Jose as they focus on their capital campaign and delivery of services. In turn, Casa San Jose will lease the property until the end of their fundraising campaign, at which time they will exercise their option to purchase.
Great. And do we have somebody from Casa San Jose to speak to this as well?
Yeah, so Monica could not make this, but she asked for Veronica to attend, so Veronica should be and
Hi, Veronica, you're welcome to add anything you want to add.
Thank you so much for the time to address this matter. The only thing I would like to say is that, well, everybody knows already the work that Casa San Jose does, but having a permanent space, where we can continue building a community that is connected, that work together on building a new programs, and that can bring prosperity to everyone. So having Casa San Jose moving to this location will benefit everyone, because we're going to be connecting the community on creating new programs, additional to the programs that CASA already offering. And at this time, Casa San Jose does not have a proper space where we can continue growing the way that we need to grow and serve the community the way that we need to serve them. We've reached our space limited capacity, our staff grow, the families that we serve grow. Beachview is one of the largest area in the Allegheny County. The Casa San Jose serves the families. We don't have that much space where we are right now, that sometimes we have to see clients on the sidewalk. We have to put chairs on the sidewalk to attend cases, and we cannot continue doing that anymore. That's not proper, right? We need to have a better location where we can bring the community together under one roof and continue the service that we do. So having the URA approval for us to move to this location will show that the confidence that you have on Casa San Jose's mission, and the confidence that you will have on Casa San Jose's work that provides for this community. I really hope, on behalf of the clientele that we have, the families, I really hope that this is being approved so we can go ahead and start planning to move to our new home very soon. Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here. Casa San Jose does incredibly important work for people across not just the city, but across the whole region. So thanks for being here, but more importantly, thanks for everything you guys do for the people of the city.
Thank you so much.
Any questions or comments?
No questions. Just reiterate what you said, Sam. Great organization. This is fantastic.
Yeah, love to see this. I think a motion to approve would be in order.
So
moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries. Next, we have the project that we talked about a bit last month, and it's back on our agenda this month, the SomeraRoad apartment project at the Southside Works. Adelaide, you're gonna give us a refresher on this?
Yes, good afternoon, everyone. Today we are recommending we accept the redevelopment proposal of SomeraRoad Southside Works apartments and entering into a disposition contract with SomeraRoad or a related entity. Next slide. As you all know, SomeraRoad proposes constructing a 7-story, 246-unit residential building along the Monongahela Riverfront in the Southside Flats neighborhood. The URA has tried to develop the site since 1999, but the previous projects fell through due to infeasibility. The SomeraRoad proposal will be 100% privately financed. Although the site does not include affordable housing, SomeraRoad has put forth the only feasible proposal while also requiring no government soft funds or tax breaks, something that has proven to be difficult given the site conditions. When we tried to include affordable housing at the property, the project faced a huge funding gap. Over the last 6 months, we've extracted several concessions from the developer, which go above and beyond the development agreement and deliver several key benefits to Pittsburgh residents. The project will obligate SomeraRoad to leverage more than $26 million in private investment to revitalize this former brownfield steel mill site. It will generate significant tax revenue for the city, approximately $10 million over the next 10 years. It will create 17 affordable units at the neighboring Southside Flats property located down the street. It will reserve 5,000 square feet of below market rate retail space for locally owned businesses. It will invest $4.7 million in public infrastructure and improvements, including public arts, streetlights, an ice skating rink, a playground, and a town square for community events. And then finally, it will increase higher MWBE participation goals for the project by 7% or 25% total for minority-owned businesses and 3% or 10% total for women-owned businesses. As part of the proposal, the URA will amend the development agreement to extend development rights through 2026 and increase the viability of developing parcel D3A. At this time, I am happy to answer any questions.
You may have mentioned it, but I may have missed it. I apologize if you did. But can you also speak to the fact that they have to take on the environmental concerns of the site?
Yes, so that's part of the site excavation work, which they're performing right now. They've spent about $1 million on pre-development work, and they'll spend another $1 million prior to closing.
Thank you. So again, we had held this agenda item last month in order, for board members to be able to sort of more thoroughly review the underlying finances of the proposed project, and really look at whether or not whether there was a pathway essentially to increasing the number or depth of affordable units. So I just want to take a moment and thank the staff, the URA staff that worked so hard to get the board all that additional information and hold those briefings over the course of the last month. I think what we're looking at here is it's a really commendable outcome, given that, as Adelaide said, there's no public money going into this project, entirely privately financed, and yet we were able to sort of use the leverage of the URA and negotiating power to ensure that the city's going to get 17 affordable units out of this, thousands of square feet of affordable retail space, which will be incredibly important to small businesses and local minority-owned businesses seeking to set up shop in the Southside potentially, and all the other public benefits that Adelaide went through. So just want to lift up your hard work and thank you for taking the extra time to go through the details with board members individually and collectively and push so hard for the positive community outcomes that we see here. Any questions or comments?
There was a question in the Q&A about this, but I'm unable to pull it up. So I was hoping maybe somebody could read it out.
I've got that for you. This question comes from Swain Uber. Could the URA negotiate the development to include some project-based voucher units or require the acceptance of housing choice vouchers?
I can jump in quickly. I will say a potential issue with that is the market rate rents are incredibly high, and I don't even know if the voucher program would help subsidize the difference, just because it's large, upwards of $1,000 for a 2-bedroom. And the reason we got comfortable with those super high market rate rents is it allows the project to support a large first mortgage and not require soft funds. But that's a good, I don't know enough about the Housing Authority of Pittsburgh versus HUD's program. I know the Housing Authority of Pittsburgh, though, they usually cap how much they'll subsidize, what the allowable market rate rent is. And from what I've seen, they're substantially lower than what's being proposed here.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it bears repeating that the construction costs here are significantly higher than normal, in part because of the environmental remediation that needs to take place. Months were spent in negotiating and pushing and exploring every conceivable way to get to a larger number of affordable units. That's why we held this for an additional month, so that board members would have a chance to sort of delve deep into the numbers and try to understand the financial reality facing this project, essentially.
Yeah, Sam, and just to add, we definitely went back and forth on this as a board, trying to consider, again, how we could make it more affordable or what we can get for communities surrounding this development in terms of benefits and, overall thinking about the discounted commercial space, which will hopefully allow for local and possibly an MWBE vendor to be there. In addition, the green space, the public infrastructure improvements that Sam and others have talked about have been ways that we've worked with SomeraRoad to ensure that even though there's no URA money going into this or public subsidy money going into this, that we are able to extract out benefits that would work for not just those living in the affordable units in the flats, but just the Southside and overall Pittsburgh community in general.
Thanks, Lindsay. Any other questions or comments? So the affordable, I don't know if it says so on the slides, but the discounted commercial space is at $15 a square foot, which is like for high visibility retail space. I don't know, high visibility retail space like that at Southside Works often is $30 to $35 a square foot. So it actually makes renting that retail space feasible and accessible to businesses like a Catapult graduate, for example, or other small businesses trying to get their feet up on the ground. So I think that's a really significant achievement here. So if there are no other questions or comments, then I think a motion would be appropriate at this point.
Motion to approve.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Sorry, my mic was frozen. Second.
Thank you. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you so much. And again, thanks thanks to the staff that put in the extra time to kind of walk us through all the financials and do a deep dive on this over the last month. Next up, Josette Fitzgibbons is gonna talk to us about the Neighborhood Initiative Fund Awards.
So the last item on your agenda, so I'll try to be quick with this. We are asking for authorization to enter into grant agreements and related contracts with the organizations that are listed here that have been awarded Neighborhood Initiatives Fund for the 2021 round. We think it's a really great group of awardees. We actually got 23 proposals. All of them were really good, and it was a very difficult decision to make. But the awardees for this year are the Jasmine Nairi Center's Community Access project in Sheridan, Mount Washington CDC's business incubator in Mount Washington. The Oakland bid is doing their Pods of Opportunity program, obviously in Oakland. The South Pittsburgh Men's Group in Beltsuver is working on the Beltsuver Institute of Arts and Science. We're also putting funds toward Big Tom's Barbershop in the Hill. Larmer Consensus Group is working with a developer on the 523-27 Larmer Avenue building, which is a pretty large building in the Larmer Avenue commercial corridor. And then renovations at 2115 Perrysville Avenue being done by Perry Hilltop Citizens Council. Next slide, Daniel. So just a very quick review between 2019 and 2020. We awarded about $1.4 million in NIF awards for 28 projects impacting 26 neighborhoods. So this will be an additional $500,000 in an additional 7 projects in 7 neighborhoods. So any questions?
No, it looks great. Any questions?
Motion to approve.
Thank you.
Second.
Thanks, Jody. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you so much. And then finally, we have the disclosure agenda. Pro forma matters that require board approval, but usually not much discussion or explanation unless there's anything, Greg or Nathan or anybody else that you want to point out to us.
Not really. No, I think one of the interesting ones is our URA is working with the city to issue an RFP for the Troy Hill Fire Station, which is kind of an interesting redevelopment opportunity. The URA will share the proceeds of any developer who requires it, but it's kind of a late entry and it's a very interesting project. So I would take this opportunity to kind of put it out to the ether to see what kind of interest we get. So other than that, I just said, Sam, all that is pretty perfunctory at this point, and at least to my mind, I don't really know what we're talking about too much.
Okay. There are several properties being conveyed to the Pittsburgh Land Bank, so that's good news and progress.
Definitely, yes. We're excited about that.
I would ask for a motion to approve the disclosure agenda in its entirety.
So move.
So moved.
Motion is seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. And that concludes the October 14th meeting of the Urban Redevelopment Authority. I think we need a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Thank you. And seconded.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Meeting stands adjourned. Thank you so much.
See everybody.